It says a love story on the cover,
Yeah.
and there is a love story in it, but it's also a satire sort of, and
Yeah, it is a surreal black satire about sort of world geopolitics. You know, it's the war in the book is Chechnya, but I could have picked other wars. You know, I just had to be Chechnya because it was a Russian internet bride. You know, that introduces him into this world of Chechnya.
let's go over the three major characters.
Okay.
Let's start in Canada first, with a lonely guy.
Yeah, Hank. Hank is defeated when we first meet him. Somewhat suicidal. Wouldn't say he's full-blown suicidal, but it's something he thinks about every once in a while. He suffers terribly from tinnitus. What a lot of people don't realize is the majority of people who suffer from extreme tinnitus don't have hearing problems.
That's the severe ringing in the ears,
Yeah.
right?
They don't have hearing problems and they haven't been exposed to explosions. More often, really severe tinnitus is a symptom of depression, extreme anxiety. You know, they get treated with antidepressants and it tends to go away.
So Hank decides to find a woman to cheer him
Yeah,
up.
he has a near-death experience and that kind of revs him up a little bit, you know. Boy, staring into the jaws of death will do that to someone. And he meets a guy who suggests he gets an internet bride. He doesn't know if it's for him, but he picks a woman, you know.
It's a James Bondian kind of sounding website.
From RussiaWithLove.com, yeah. Yeah, you know, I looked on a lot of those websites, and it was tough finding one that they all have kind of that sort of punny name to it, and From Russia with Love didn't exist, so that's what I called it. But it's sort of a classic name for an internet bride site.
And the woman on the other end, tell me about her.
Anya, she's kind of she's sort of a neurotic schoolgirl. You know, when I was doing my research for this book, I read sort of all the Russian literature that's out there now, and it's mostly crappy spy novels. And the female characters are always the same. They're these kind of stoic, icy, strong, cunning, silent types. You know, so I made her exactly the opposite, and she was easy to get for that reason. She doesn't know her own mind. She's had a bad love affair with a guy from Dagestan, and which is down in the Caucasus, right next to Chechnya. And to get over it, she decides she wants to get out of Russia, so she puts a picture of herself on this website.
And the boyfriend that she's fleeing.
Yeah, he was sort of my favorite character to write. He's like an Islamic party boy. He's constantly mistaken for Chechen. It's sort of a running gag in the book.
And he looks like a dead rock star.
Yeah, there's a rock star, sort of the Jim Morrison of Russia, is a guy named Victor Tsoi. And so this guy happens to look exactly like Victor Tsoi, and he gets all the women he can handle because of it. And he's just a wild party guy. Again, I'm playing against type because he's a Muslim, and the Muslims we meet in fiction these days tend to be very pious, serious, or assassins, you know, terrorists. So I just played him against type, and I made him sort of a benign party boy, you know, who's out to break as many hearts as possible
So
before his youth flees him.
So he gets himself wrapped up with the extremists, and through really not too much fault of his own.
No, I mean, what happens in the book is the Moscow theater occupation occurs, and as did really happen after that, the Russian police just went around and rounded up everyone with kind of olive-tinted skin, all young men with olive-tinted skin, from this one part of downtown St. Petersburg called the Praxin Dvor, which is sort of the downtown market area, and it's where all the Caucasians live. By Caucasians, I mean someone from the Caucasus area. And he just gets rounded up in a sweep by the Russians, who torture him and give him this drug that makes him omniscient, but it also makes him insane. The book's all in the name. the culprits, because we're all guilty. You know, I don't let anyone off unless you sit on a mountain somewhere and eat berries that you've collected. You are providing a profit motive for some oil war somewhere, and you are providing the profit motive for, you know, the felling of the rainforest somewhere and sweatshops somewhere. You can't avoid it. You know, we're all culprits, and I think that we engage in a sort of a healthy denial of this. I think on some level we know this, but we engage in a very healthy denial of this just to get through our lives and enjoy them. It's the people who are omniscient in the book, who aren't allowed that luxury, who suffer.
The book is The Culprits, a love story. I'm speaking with the author, Robert Hough, and The Culprits, published by Random House in Canada.